Good morning and grand rising to another beautiful day, another beautiful moment, another day of expressing our energetic frequencies together. So I welcome you all to this little talk that I do every Friday morning. And thankfully for Humanity Healings allowing me to be here and do this. And today is the day's talk is about energetic expression. Good morning, Janice. Grace and peace to you as well. And that's part of the energy is grace and peace. There are many energies that we are finding ourselves in the midst of, and I'm trying to fix all this regalia I have on me, but that's okay. I just want to be good looking for everybody. How's that for energetic expression? There you go. It's not going to happen in this lifetime. Maybe my next one. And part of energetic expression is not to lose our sense of humor. But as I started this morning, the word expression came out, and I said, "What do you mean, the expression? Express what? Do we express ourselves? What is this expression that guidance is asking me to talk about?" And it came down to what we've been going, or I've been going through in this past week of this powerful energy, which led up to yesterday being the new moon and the Ring of Fire solstice. And although it wasn't visible to me, and I was a few minutes late anyway, getting up, and it was cloudy, so I didn't get to see much of anything. But the reality is, the energy of that has been profound, and I could actually feel the leading up to it, and I'm now feeling the moving away from it. Most of us don't pay attention to a lot of that energy, but it happens and it makes us behave in ways or feel different, uh, emotional, because it's energy, emotional um, frequencies. Some of them are good, some of them are what we would declare not good, but they're all part of this whole expression of who we are as these energetic beings. We are beings of energy. And so the message came. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning, Janice. Oh, I already got you, Janice. Pleasure. Got you twice. So that's the message. Really is about tapping into the cosmic energies right now at a deeper level, rather than just being frightened by them or challenged by them or even unaware of them. I mean, there are many people who are just unaware. They go through every day in patterns, and they. It's not that they're not aware. Their body is aware, but their minds are not aware. They just dismiss it as, foolishness or insignificant. Right now, energies from what we would call cosmic events and planetary events are very important, and they're challenging many of us in many different ways. And we have to remember that without them, we don't exist. This is sounds silly, but without the energies of the cosmic greater whole, we don't exist. We are all part of this collective whole that is far much grander than just our human species and our planetary experience. And as we see scientists, are they're sending rockets to here and there and all of this stuff. They know this, and they know what they're after, and they know what they're looking for. They're not going to tell the general public, but that's okay because they're part of a group of rulers, if you will, who are uh, actually challenging each other for power. It's sort of like when we were children, you know, there was some game we used to play, and the one that got back first won, or didn't get, So this is like a game for many of the leaders of the world to go into space and challenge each other. And when we look at this, at least when I look at this, I remember all those childhood games, and I say, haven't we grown beyond that yet? How am I at 72 years old still looking at the world as this board game or this street game? And the reality for that is that's because we haven't evolved all that much. So right now, this is what the energetic expression is about, is evolution. And I say that from my heart. I'm not saying it as a threat. I'm not saying it as I know all that there is. I don't. I just feel it, and I'm guided to work in that field, is to help people understand that we're moving through a period of humanity that is going to be very challenging, but at the same time, it's going to be beautiful and amazing. And that's opposite what the news and everybody else is telling us. Their doom and gloom and fear and crisis and et cetera, et cetera. And that's because they want to hold on to what they've created. This is their stuff. This is, and they own that, and that's their identity, and they can't let go of that identity in order to move forward into the new identity, which would be much more better for them. They don't realize that. They're in a place where what they have is the power, they have the money, they have all of this. Why would they want anything different? This is what they wanted. They got what they wanted. What could be better than this? And in their world, it's more of this. And as we look around the world, as the forests being depleted, as the water being polluted, as the air being polluted, as them digging up chemicals from within the earth that are poisoning everything, as we see this virus go by, and we see all of the illness and the diseases and stuff, we look at this and say we've become a world of medicines. We're just a world of medicine. So that's, which is wonderful. But why do we need them all is the question. And so we have to change. And that's what this energy, this cosmic energy, is going to help most of us do. And that's the reality. We're creating a new world in a new universe, and we will be the new humanity. And I put that in my expression of what this talk is about today. It's about creating a new world. It's about creating a new universe. But it starts here with creating a new us. And each one of us are part of that. Even if we're only the small size of an ant on this planet, what we do is important because every ant is important. It doesn't mean our size or our power. What it means is coming into resonance with the process and becoming part of it. So every molecule is a part of it. So I started off, and in my show notes and user streets, let's focus on the inner source of all of our changes. What does that mean? Um, well, it means we're all being guided from inside of us, okay? And our way of recognition is through our minds, because that gives us awareness of what's happening in us, around us, and etc. We will feel it physically. That's the first signal. And then the signal goes, the energetic signal goes to the brain, sets off the triggers. It says something's happening, and pay attention, or run and hide, whatever the message of the brain is. That's what it does. It's a beautiful, beautiful system. But don't go into fear. And I'll talk about that a little later. And know that in this process, all of us are being guided to adapt. Really, the word adaptation came in. And adapt and change. So first we have to become aware of something. Then we kind of have to adapt to that awareness. And then the next process is change. Go to a biology class. Sophomore year biology. When I went to sophomore year biology, I looked at the books and I said, they're still studying this? This is still important. And it was important. But I didn't realize that I had already had an awareness of that, and I have no clue where that came from. The reality is that we live in many dimensions simultaneously. And information from those frequencies will come in and come out. And we're now, because of the changes of the atmosphere and the environment on our, how would I want to say this, our galactic level, our universal level, is changing just as rapidly as we are. Many of those channels, if you will, I don't like that word, but it does, those little points of connection are opening, and we're receiving information. And it's important that we follow that information and align it with the present energy that's happening. Otherwise, we're going to create distortion. So we're receiving energy that's allowing us to process the information that we are receiving, whether it's from in this way or from in this way. It doesn't matter, but we're receiving it. And we're being called to act on it. Energetic expression. How do we express the energy that we are now receiving and put it into a sequence that humans, all of us as humans, can follow? The biggest constraint to all of this is fear. And you've heard me talk about fear before, and I'll talk about it until the day I'm no longer here. Fear is the biggest roadblock for all of us to evolve. And while fear for our primitive ancestors was necessary in order to survive, because it was more of a world where it was survival of the fittest, that was very important. But we're thousands and thousands, if not millions of years away from our first ancestors. It depends on what story you want to read and what they want you to know, how far you go back. Yet they were making stone weapons and tools. I think it's 2 million years ago. I think they found some tools. Don't quote me on that, but it's ancient. Nobody's really talking too much about all of that. because it destroys a lot of the stories that we have come to believe about who we are and where we come from. Not going there. So that's what fear has done is they made us afraid to even look at the real story. They've made us afraid to really accept anything other than what we're being told. And they're like our parents, whoever they are, to say, well, we want to make this container for humanity to live its experience, but not have the full power of its existence. And so fear has been played as the control mechanism. It's the tool. It's the tool and not that has not assisted our journey, but actually hindered it. And partly because it's been used by the leaders in order to control us, to herd us like cattle, etc., etc. All the illusions, you know what they are. I'm not going to belabor that. So if you have people, if fear is being instilled into your support system, the message is don't listen to it anymore. And I don't mean that when a car is coming at you and you're crossing the street, don't be afraid. That's legitimate. That's, but when you are silently just at peace and somebody's creating a story that is not involving with you immediately and they're feeding you information just with the intention of putting you into fear. Um, know that it is a program that has been run, and its intention is to keep you from accepting the new energies and the new thought patterns that those energies will create. And that was just interesting because I was looking at my show notes and I went from the top to the bottom, and now I got to go back to the top. That's the interference with what I have to say. Because what I'm saying to each of you is to trust. Trust the energetic expression. And it doesn't matter as much what the expression is, but know that it is specifically dedicated to you. That what the fear triggers in you will be different than what the fear triggers in me. And this goes for everyone. We all have those, I don't like the word programs again, but they are programs in our system from childhood, from being in the womb. Some of them are genetically carried over, behavioral patterns, etc. And we need to just look at them when they arise and say, I'm no longer going to allow this to run my life. I'm calling back my power, my sovereign self, my power to overrule this if need be. So, of course, we have a lot of fears that are necessary, as I said earlier. The reality is it's like mountains, and the vision that I rolled with in my show notes, which will be posted at some later point, is that we're in this valley. And in this valley, we have been nestled, and it's safe here. And so we have the high mountains and we have rolling hills. And the rolling hills are peaceful. They're not threatening. They're, when we look at the rolling hills, we have to, look and say, oh, aren't they beautiful? And we would like to go walking or And on the other side, we have these high peak snow mountains, and we look at, oh, that's, uh, I don't know if I'm ready to climb over there. So I'll take the easy road rather than the challenging road. It really doesn't matter which road we take. But notice that the fear arises when you see something massive and something very powerful and omnipresent in your face and very challenging. The fear comes up. And then, and so what we learn from that, just being in this valley, is that in order to get out of the valley, we have to go one way or the other. Because otherwise, we'll only live in this little valley and we'll never get to experience what's beyond it. It's a closed in little pocket. This is where we are in humanity. We are in this valley. And we're being called to rise up and move out and go, let's go see what the rest is really all about. That's what our ancestors did, and that's when they were hunters and gatherers. They moved out of the valleys and they moved, and this is what we're doing again. It's really that simple. So it's all due to the energies that are coming in, and you need to take a look at those energies and really focus on how you're dealing with the energies. And that means within you. And see what is coming at you and how what's coming at you, whether it's information or friendships that seem to be falling apart, or marriages, or struggles financially, struggles in your way of who am I, what am I. Take another look at all of that, not as something to fear, but as a gift for you to open the book of you and read it again and say, this is who I am now, line by line. This is what I'm doing. On question, is that really in my best interest? And then find those places within you where fear is blocking you from, well, I can't do that because, I can't, no, well, I've never done that before. And realize that many things you're not supposed to do. But find the ones that are the way out of this valley, the way for you to evolve, you personally. We don't have to take the whole tribe with us. We're not, as we do it for ourselves individually, the tribe will follow. Because they'll say, oh, Joe went over there. I haven't seen him for 3 days or 4 days. He must be, let's go looking for him. The curiosity of the rest of humanity will say, why is that person so bright, so filled with life? Wow, what did he drink this morning? We are the ones who chose to be the leaders. And I say that not in an ego sense, but the ones to show the way showers for others. And that's why you're listening to me. That's why you're listening to what you're listening to. You're tuning into what you're tuning, because all that you're tuning into is really talking about you leaving the old behind, the old energies behind, because they are not going to work in the future. And if we don't start to entrain ourselves to be in alignment with the new energies As I said, the sun, the new moon, the eclipse, there's more things coming, cosmic things coming. And if we don't align ourselves with them or learn to accept what we can, if you can't take it all, accept it all, that's okay. Accept what you can. Honor your body, honor your mind, and know that this is part of the divine design. That which we, or I call the divine design, the original blueprint. And it's not something we need to fear. It's not something we need to judge others about. It's about you and I and our own personal journeys to rise up out of the valley and say, I'm going to take the high mountain road or I'm going to take the easy rolling hills. But we need to move out. We need to get moving. We need to go and create and co-create the new planet Earth. And many people say, well, I don't have that power. The truth is you do have that power. And that power has been hidden from you for thousands of years. And it doesn't matter why. And it doesn't really matter by whom right now. Those are other talks for other days. But right now, I want you to recognize that power within you. That's the energy. And that's it's unnerving sometimes. It's powerful. That power is you. That's your power. And I can't say it enough. Take a look at what's coming up in your own body's emotion field. And do not be afraid to face it or express it. If it's frustration and anger, well, of course, you need to sit and critically list what is triggering that frustration and anger, not express it. This is your power in action. If it's the first use of that divine power that you have is to stop the anger and the frustration, to stop sending it out into the world, bravo. Because the less of that out there, the more the new energies will be able to seed and sit into the hearts of all of humanity. People say, where do you get this information? I said, I don't know. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to put a name on it. I'm not going to look at it as something outside of myself. I feel that all of this information is the same information you're getting. I'm not any different than you. I just have less fields of density for it to move through. And, the new teachers are crucial. And they're not people. They're energies. They're feelings. There are feelings. There are emotional expression. And they're just part of a larger process of evolution that our ancestors have taken. And we've taken in very, very short, managed journeys. Again, when you look at the world and you look at the leaders of the world and you ask yourself, what are they doing? I'm going to leave the answer to you. I'm not going to tell you the answer. Look at the leaders of the world today and ask yourself, what are they doing for humanity? And then let that be your guide. Because when you really look at it, it becomes very obvious. Becomes very obvious. And we're being called from our higher dimensional self to take a look at that and remember our own innate power and what's left that has not been diminished by fear from leaders, by fear from people who said they were here to protect us and to help us. And instead, what has happened has happened. Turn the page. Turn the page. The fear is nothing but the mountains. It's the obstacles. One side has less challenges, one side has a lot. Both will give us the same end result, yet who we are at the end of those journeys will be who we are. So it's your choice. It's your choice. And know that each set of mountains, whether they're rolling hills or high peaks, can be dangerous. The high peaks obviously have more threat. But that's your journey. Your challenge is to, how am I going to embrace the new energies and the new frequencies, etc., and shift my inner energy field in order to align with that. Don't fear either one is the key. Energetic expression is energetic expression. It's not created to produce fear. It's not, it is in itself. The quantum field unfolding within itself. So that's where I'm at today. It's 10:33, and the message really is about letting go of our fears, which I talk about a lot because they are in our way, and many of them are put in our way. And it's a challenge for us to move beyond them, myself included. I spend days struggling, some days struggling with issues. And then one day, the breakthrough, it's like an epiphany, and it's like, that's it, I'm done, it's gone. Where did it go? And what I've learned is it really wasn't even there. It was part of the illusion that has been created in order to us to have the civilization that we do. And it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful civilization. However, now that is ending. And if you look at the history of humanity and you dig under the cities, you'll find other civilizations. And those civilizations were just that era's repeating what we're doing right now. And thousands of years from now, somebody will dig down and, oh, here's Washington, D.C. Oh my goodness, look at this. And what was this? And what was that? They'll be wondering who we were. We are amazing human beings. And each one of you have the power to shift and change the future so that the future generations of human beings will have abundance, we'll have joy, we'll have peace. We are the ones. We are the ones who said we'd be here at this time. I want to thank you all for showing up. Janice, Margaret, Tara, Victoria, Nalini, or Nalini, Barbara, Melissa, Linda, Nicoletta, Christy, Alona, Donato, Wayne, Linda. And Linda says, yes, to the new energies and the new path, creating leads me, popping my head out of its deep slump and rising above, empowered and curious about new life and new directions. We have Kikadas, which here now they're delivering sacred energy and wisdom to me. How beautiful. Be at one with nature. Look at what nature has to offer all of us, the teachings and the wisdom. And this is what, again, we're tapping into. Is the love of power or the power of love? There really is no separation. There is love. I will share with you that the higher you go, the further you go within to yourself, the more love you will receive. That this is the glorious pattern. This is the winding stairway. It isn't out there, it's in here. It's within us. It's within this heart center. It's in this toroidal field. We are a toroidal field within a toroidal field within another toroidal field. It's almost like the Russian dolls. And they're all toroidal fields. We cannot escape being a toroidal field. But we are a toroidal field in a human form. Think about that power. Think about that creation of energy and that balance and that harmony. That's what you have the power to create. You are that toroidal field of energy. Jeanette, Penny, Leslie, oh, bless you all, Rashid. Yeah, thank you so much for all being here today. I know that, when I come in every week, I'll bring something. It may sound the same, it may not, but all of it comes from my heart. All of it is coming as a gift to me, and I'm just sharing it with you. And you can disagree, and I have no problem with that. I have no problem with anybody's, understanding. If you have, this is who we are. This is who we are. So, with all of that said, my mala beads are out of whack. I'm out of balance. All of you, please stay balanced. Stay in love. Love yourself. They always told us, no, that's selfish. You can't love yourself. That's being narcissistic. No, that's not narcissistic. That's being selfish. Loving, you are love. How can you not love love? And then think you're going to give love. My parting words to you today. You are love. Carry that in your hearts. Feel it in your hearts. Dance with it in your hearts. And let go of the fear and all of the people and all of the situations in your lifetime that tells you you are not lovable or that you are not loved, because those are fake news. Into the new we go. I'm with you. You're with me. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. And we are unity. Have a blessed week. Have a powerful week. Embrace the energies as they come and deal with them in that moment. And if they're uncomfortable, and this is what I'm telling everybody now, is get out on Mother Earth and put your hands in your bare hands and your feet in Mother Earth, or go to a tree and start talking to the trees and start sending your blessings to Mother Earth through the trees. And that's the mycelium. I get the wording. Mycelium. Send your love, your water, your light into the trees and tell the trees to send it to Mother Earth. And in doing that, you will restore automatically the system that was in place and has always been in place. But we have forgotten. Have a great week. See you next Friday. Love you all. Thank you all. And somewhere there's a way. Oh, there it is. So now it's over this side. Some weeks it's that side. Again, it's all just energy, just trying to follow where it goes. Bless you, Cindy, for all the hearts. And yeah, hug trees. Yes, Tara, hug the trees. I'm a tree hugger. I actually belong to Tree Sisters. I'm a tree brother. Bless you all. Love you.